Team Trump seem to be under the impression that if they do blatant corruption out in the open for everyone to see, it's somehow okay, or it somehow makes it transparent. This, however, is not okay, not even close. But it hasn't stopped Trump and his administration from continuously attempting to benefit from the presidency. And now all of Donald Trump's corruption has bubbled over to CBS exposing Donald Trump's unprecedented corruption dinner. That's right, this is a bombshell report, and you're not going to want to go anywhere. How's it going, everybody? Hunter Avallone here with Occupy Democrats. Welcome back to another video. Now, we are going to jump into how CBS has exposed Donald Trump, but first, I saw something else recently that honestly concerned me greatly. Donald Trump is seemingly attempting to punish blue states.
In total, the so-called blue states saw a reduction of nearly $500 million, while the so-called red states saw an increase of $257 million. Do you have any other possible explanation for the way the administration wants to distribute these funds other than partisanship?
They wanted to prioritize life safety, flooding, and American prosperity.
And you think all of the projects in California, Washington, other states don't do that?
It's not my judgment to make. That was what they prioritized within the funds that they had discretion to allocate.
And they're taking money, $250 million away from the so-called blue states, giving it to the so-called red states. Do you think that that's consistent with solid engineering and technical work that's been done on these projects? Do you really believe that, Ms. Klossmo?
I believe all the projects put forth are good projects.
That's not what I asked.
What I said was I believe they were all good projects. How they stack against the projects one by one is difficult to answer in one soundbite.
Well, you have 33 seconds.
I do believe they represent
You
the
have
priority of
33
the
seconds.
administration of life safety, flooding, and coastal and inland
You already
ports.
said that. Try
That's
again.
what I believe.
Okay, you think that this was all on the level? You don't think there's any partisanship
I
at
believe
all?
they had to make trade-offs that I was not privy to.
Right, and those trade-offs were of a partisan nature, weren't they?
I don't believe they were partisan, but that's their decision
You
to
don't
make.
believe they were partisan. So what's the explanation if it's not partisanship?
It's the priorities they placed that were different than priorities than other projects. You would have to
Okay.
ask them directly.
I'm out of time, but I find your testimony to be completely unbelievable. Thank you.
This is pathetic, but then again, I'm not that surprised. Trump is going to continue these desperate attempts at silencing criticism because he is bleeding support every day. Now his big, beautiful bill just passed, and a bunch of people can expect to lose their health coverage. This is going to greatly hurt Donald Trump, and you don't even have to take it from me. Take it from J.D. Vance.
And as we've been talking about, this is not just a policy problem. There's obviously a significant issue of folks potentially losing access to their health care. But if you think of the political problem, you know, folks have always asked, what is it that's going to drive Donald Trump's voters away from him? Well, losing their health care may actually be the answer to that question.
Yeah, that's brutal, but honestly, it's nothing compared to the moment you've been waiting for. That's right, CBS has exposed Donald Trump's unprecedented corruption dinner with a new bombshell report. This is highly concerning. Take a look.
They said it was personal. Team Trump has repeatedly claimed that the controversial Trump coin dinner, where top investors get an intimate evening with the president, was just a private gathering.
Sure. On the president's dinner tonight, will the White House commit to making a list of the attendees public so people can see who's paying for that kind of access to the president?
Well, as you know, Garrett, this question has been raised with the president. I have also addressed the dinner tonight. The president is attending it in his personal time. It is not a White House dinner. It's not taking place here at the White House. But certainly I can raise that question and try to get you an answer for it.
Okay.
But CBS News just dropped a bombshell report revealing something far more disturbing. According to the report, people are buying into Trump's cryptocurrency to try and influence the president himself. One executive, Donald Quimby from Freight Technologies, admitted on the record that his firm spent $2 million on Trump coin to make a splash and get Trump's attention. I'm sure he likes to follow who's purchasing his coins, Quimby told CBS. This isn't speculation. It's happening in broad daylight, and the numbers are staggering. In total, over $140 million was spent by buyers competing for access to the April dinner. The top 25 buyers are now getting a private reception. Even Trump's own son, Eric Trump, was stunned, according to the Wall Street Journal. At first, some White House aides thought the event was fake, but it's real. And at the center of it is Justin Sun, a crypto billionaire from China with a controversial past. He's facing fraud allegations, yet he's now Trump Coin's largest investor and reportedly spent $75 million backing Trump's ventures. CBS calls it unprecedented, and legal experts agree. Jessica Tillotman, a law professor at George Washington University, warned, "This appears to be a president that could be potentially benefiting privately from something he's doing out in the open." She compared it to Hunter Biden's art sales, but said the difference here is the order of magnitude. Trump's team insists it's all legal. The White House called it a personal dinner, unrelated to official duties. But lawmakers are not convinced. Senator Richard Blumenthal put it bluntly. This is putting a for sale sign on the White House. He's now launched an investigation. And it gets worse. Another report says a $2 billion deal is being pursued by an Emirati fund using Trump coin. Foreign money, private influence, and a president directly profiting. This isn't just a scandal. It's a cryptocurrency-fueled auction for access to power. And it's unfolding right in front of us.
This is so unbelievably embarrassing. Even Trump's own son was like, what? It's actually astounding to me that the man who ran on the America First platform is now solely interested in benefiting himself and his own family. To everybody that voted for Donald Trump, I'm sorry, but you're a few of the biggest suckers in the entire world. You actually trusted a man who has bankrupt a bunch of his businesses to somehow benefit you and not bankrupt the country.